Hello buddy, it's Bendominator and welcome back to a brand new video. In today's video, we're going to be ranking every single vehicle in Fortnite Battle Royale, and I'm going to just be giving my thoughts on every single vehicle as we rank them. Of course, this video is all just my opinion, so if you guys want to share your opinions, feel free in the comment section below. If you guys do end up enjoying the video, be sure to give a thumbs up, subscribe if you are new, because I make videos like this all the time, and you can also use my supported creator code Bendominator in the Fortnite item shop #ad. Let's go ahead and get right into the video. So at the bottom of the list at the number 14 spot is gonna be the shopping carts. These were the first vehicles to ever be introduced into the game, and well, at the time they were kind of fun. They really did not age well, and they were also extremely buggy, and still are kind of buggy in creative mode. I don't really think this vehicle is ever going to return in any way, shape, or form in the future. I think it would be kind of interesting to see it return, but overall, it's just kind of clunky. It doesn't really get you much speed. Like, as a vehicle, it's not really great for mobility, but at the time of its release, it was really fun, and you have to give it credit for being the first ever vehicle in the game. But yeah, still the very bottom of my list. And next up at number 13, we have the pirate cannon, which is kind of the same thing as the shopping cart, but you can shoot yourself out of the cannon, and you can shoot cannonballs at opponents as well, though it is very difficult to aim this thing. I think this is definitely an improvement over the shopping cart due to the added mobility and the offensive capabilities, though it is also just really clunky to control and overall not really a great vehicle. It's an improvement over the shopping cart. It was definitely fun while it was in the game, but it's nothing really groundbreaking, so that's why it's at number 13. Next up at number 12, we have the Brute. While these things were fun to use, they are very annoying to go against in my opinion. I don't really have fun fighting against Brutes. Even when they brought them back in Chapter 2 Season 8, I still found them very frustrating and very annoying, though they are fun to control yourself. So it's kind of a double-edged sword here, but due to the fact that they are very annoying to go against and that they're not very fun to fight, I'm gonna keep the Brute pretty low on this list. Next up, for the number 11 spot, we have the UFOs. These were both annoying to go against and also just not that fun to use in my opinion. But the reason that they're above the Brute is because they're not as annoying as the Brutes were. Though I just don't really find them that interesting. Yes, they are UFOs, but compared to other air vehicles, it just kind of felt like a downgrade. I don't know, they just kind of felt slow and clunky to control and a bit gimmicky for me. Next up at number 10, breaking into the top 10, we have the Tank, which is another vehicle that I think is kind of slow and clunky, though it was pretty fun for the time it was out. I think the tanks were very balanced for what they were. I kind of expected them to be a bit overpowered feeling, but they really weren't that annoying to go up against unless you were in zero build mode. Like, in zero build mode, these things sucked to go up against. But I definitely appreciate the tanks for what they were. They were something new, something fresh to add to the game, and they definitely made it a lot of fun for the first few weeks of Season 2, Chapter 3. Would I ever want these to return back to the game? Not really, but they weren't really a bad addition either. They were just kind of there. Next up at number 9, we have the Armored Battle Bus, which this was definitely an improvement over the tank. It was a lot more speedy, a lot more fun, a lot more interesting. It still had the offensive capabilities with the turrets and everything, and I think this is definitely a better team vehicle as well. It was really fun to use in squads, and I just enjoy this vehicle a lot. But there's just a lot of other vehicles that I find a lot more fun. Definitely a good vehicle and definitely the highest jumping quality on this list so far. Next up at number 8, we have the motorboats, which is pretty much a Fortnite staple at this point. They've been in every single season since Fortnite Chapter 2 Season 1, and I think they're just a good addition to have in the game. Very good for traversing waters and rivers. I still find myself using these things a lot for storm rotation. I mean, they're great for traversing rivers especially. They're really not the most exciting vehicle in the world, but they're definitely necessary to have in the game, and they're honestly a vehicle that I think should never be removed. Next up at number 7, we have the Quad Crasher. This is a really fun vehicle. I think that it's not really as fun anymore since they kind of nerfed the boosting capabilities of it quite a bit. You can't get nearly as much airtime, but nonetheless, it's still a really fun vehicle. There's not really much to say on this one. It is pretty simple, just kind of a simple land vehicle, goes fast, gets you into storm. I think it's a good vehicle, and I hope it returns soon because it was really fun to have in Chapter 3 Season 1, and I'm not really sure as to why they removed it. I guess not enough people really use them. Next up at number 6, we have the drift board. These things are extremely fun, and I hope they return one day. They're one of the fastest vehicles in the game, at least one of the fastest seeming vehicles in the game. Like, when you're on one of these things, you feel like you're zooming, and it is so much fun. I just love how easy it is to kind of traverse terrain in these things, and I think they were really fun back in Chapter 1, Season 7. And yeah, I really just hope they come back because they're a lot of fun. My only complaint with them is that they are hard to kind of use in combat scenarios. You are kind of vulnerable on these things even though you are going pretty fast, but they are very, very fun. Breaking into the top 5, we have the X4 Stormwing, or what is better known as the Plane. This is probably an unpopular opinion, but I really did like these things. They were a lot of fun. It was really fun to get into dogfights in the sky. It was definitely a very unique experience for Fortnite, and it's something that we haven't really seen in a while. I mean, the planes just bring so much gameplay variety to the game, I feel like. They just created for some really unique fights, and they're also really fun to control. Doing different dives and rolls and stuff is always super fun. And I honestly hope these come back someday because we haven't seen them since Chapter 2 Season 5. And they were really only in that season for like 2 weeks. Next up at number 4, we have the Baller, and if it wasn't for this current season, this wouldn't be ranked as high because I really didn't use the Baller much back in Chapter 1, Season 8, and to be honest with you, I was never really a huge fan of it until I got to use it this season, and while I don't really like the whole charge mechanic, I think they're definitely very fun. Being able to grapple onto surfaces and kind of swing around and boost is such a fun idea, and they're so unique to control. I mean, just swinging around with this thing is just such a blast. It's a really good item for rotation and adds some much needed gameplay variety to the game, so I definitely enjoy it for those reasons. Next up at number 3, we have the Helicopter, which is, in my opinion, the definitive sky vehicle. These things are just so much fun. They feel a lot more balanced than the planes, and I feel like the game should always have sky mobility. And I think helicopters should just always be in the game at all times. They're a lot of fun, they're great for rotations, and sky vehicles are always just really fun in my opinion. Well, besides the UFO. But yeah, I hope helicopters return soon. Technically they were here last season, but they weren't here for very long, and it's kind of sad that they already got rid of them. So I hope they make a comeback. Next up at number 2, we have the ATK. I think the ATK is such a fun land vehicle. This was the second vehicle to ever be introduced to the game, and honestly, it was such a fun one. I love being able to drift in this thing. It's a feature that I wish the cars had. I mean, technically you can drift in the cars, but you don't get a boost for it. These were just so much fun back in the day, and while I do think that cars are better, these do hold a special place in my heart. They definitely have more charm to them, and they definitely feel a bit more cartoony, less realistic, and of course the drifting I think is a lot of fun. And at the number 1 spot, it was probably pretty obvious, but cars are my favorite vehicle in this game. They're so simple yet so effective, and they're pretty much a staple of the game at this point. Like, it's hard to believe that the game didn't have them for this long, especially in Chapter 2. And while I think ATKs have a lot more charm, cars are just a lot cooler. And I find myself using them pretty much every single match I play. Have they gotten a little stale? Yeah, but they are just cars after all, and I think they should always be in the game. So yeah, that's my list. What do you guys think? Do you agree, disagree? Let me know in the comments below. Overall, I think vehicles are such a fun part of Fortnite, though I wish we had a better variety of them at all times. I feel like we usually don't get that many vehicles in the game at one time. They usually vault one before adding one. It's just kind of strange. We usually just have cars, boats, and then some other random one thrown in, like this season. It's Ballers. And I feel like even Chapter 1 had this problem. We've never really had a season of Fortnite that has a good variety of vehicles. I personally think that cars, boats, and helicopters should be in the game at all times, and they should have a good rotation of things like quad crashers, drift boards, storm wings, ballers, and stuff like that. But anyways, that's about gonna do it for this video. If you guys did like it, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, because I make videos like this all the time, and you can also use my supporter critic code Bendominator in the Fortnite item shop #ad. Thank you guys so much for watching, have a great rest of your day, and goodbye.